it feels like they cut out an actual picture and stuck it here. So this sort of feels like 3D in a way. I don't know if you can see that. If you can see that, it looks a bit like 3D. But you can hear this. It feels like they stuck a picture on there. But yeah, I really like this book. So picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Alright, let me get into the book. I think today I'm going to be able to read the preface. Do you hear that sound? Here on the first page it says, he had uttered a mad wish that he himself might remain young and the portrait grow old, that his own beauty might be untarnished, and the face of the canvas bear the burden of his passions and his sins, that the painted image might be seared with the lines of suffering and thought, and that he might keep all the delicate bloom and loveliness of his then just conscious boyhood. Surely his wish had not been fulfilled. So that kind of wraps up what this book is about. So if you haven't read this book is basically about a man, a beautiful, handsome man. I say beautiful because he wasn't just handsome, he was literally beautiful. Beautiful to look at, beautiful to admire, right? But he wasn't quite aware of that beauty until he saw a portrait of him, which was drawn by his painter friend. And so when he realized his beauty, he also became aware of the fact that beauty is in fact fleeting. And so he made a wish that he would remain young, and the portrait his friend had drawn and given unto him as a present would then bear his aging and bear his sins and bear his burdens, and his wish came true. That's basically what the story is about. I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but I'm going to read a couple of quotes or a couple of pages from the book, which I find so profound. If you've read this book, please leave a comment down below, because this book is beautiful actually, and it's such a short read. You see the number of pages, it's so little. Alright, let's get right into the video. I'm going to start reading now. I need to get my glasses before I actually can start. critic is he who can translate into another manner. The critic is he who can translate into another manner or a new material his impression of beautiful things. His impression of beautiful things. The highest as the lowest form of criticism is a mode of autobiography. Interesting. What do you think that means? Those who find ugly meanings in beautiful things are corrupt without being charming. This is a fault. Those who find ugly meanings in beautiful things are corrupt without being charming. This is a fault. Those who find beautiful meanings in beautiful things are the cultivated. For these there is hope. They are the elect, to whom beautiful things mean only beautiful. They are the elect, to whom beautiful things mean only beauty. There is no such thing as a moral or an immoral book. Books are well written or badly written. That is all. The 19th century dislike of realism is the rage of Caliban seeing his own face in a glass. The 19th century dislike of romanticism is the rage of Caliban not seeing his own face in a glass. The moral life of man forms part of the subject matter of the artist, but the morality of art consists in the perfect use of an imperfect medium. No artist desires to prove anything. Even things that are true can be proved. No artist has ethical sympathies. An ethical sympathy in an artist is an unpardonable mannerism of style. No artist is ever morbid. The artist can express everything. Thought and language are to the artist instruments of an art. Vice and virtue are to the artist materials for an art. From the point of view of form, the type of all, the artist is the art of the musician. From the point of view of feeling, the actor's craft is the type. All art is at once surface and symbol. Those who go beneath the surface do so at their peril. It is the spectator and not life that art really mirrors. Diversity of opinion about a work of art shows that the work is new, complex, and vital. When critics disagree, the artist is in accord with himself. We can forgive a man for making a useful thing as long as he does not admire it. The only excuse for making a useless thing is that one admires it intensely. All art is quite useless. All art is quite useless. A la poubelle. Oscar Wilde. That's the preface. Or the preface. How do you pronounce that word? I think I should do a video about word pronunciations. I'm going to do that actually, because I really love learning. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next thing, which is to read the quotes that I really like from this book. I'm going to just read a few, maybe 3 or 4. This is by Basil. Now Basil is the artist. So he says, conscience and cowardice are really the same things, Basil. Sorry, this quote is actually by Lord Henry, I think. I'm not sure at this point. Anyhow, if you want to find out who he's really by, maybe you should read the book. Conscience is the trade name of the firm. That is all. Now the next quote I want to read is from this book. It says page 29, and this one is almost the entire page. I like how it's worded. I like how it sounds. Alright, let's go. All influence is immoral. Immoral from the scientific point of view. Because to influence a person is to give him one's own soul. He does not think his natural thoughts or burn with his natural passions. His virtues are not real to him. His sins, if there are such things as sins, are borrowed. He becomes an echo of someone else's music, an actor of a part that has not been written for him. The aim of life is self-development, to realize one's nature perfectly. That is what each of us is here for. People are afraid of themselves nowadays. They have forgotten the highest of all duties, the duty that one owns to oneself. Of course, they are charitable. They feed the hungry and clothe the beggar. But their own souls starve and are naked. Courage has gone out of their race. Perhaps we never really had it. The terror of society, which is the basis of morals. The terror of God, which is the secret of religion. These are the two things that govern us. And yet, that's such a profound quote, I think. And this really ties to influencers of these days, because I believe that some people are very driven by money, that they don't realize that you could literally influence somebody into their death. Literally, you could literally influence somebody into their death, because I've heard of times that someone trusted an influencer with a skincare product or with a particular weight loss product, and at the end of the day, he ended up doing them more harm than good. But because an influencer introduced them to that particular thing, they used it and eventually harmed them. So I believe that influencers ought to be more careful, and not just careful, more mindful, because to influence a person is to give him one's great sins of the world take place. You, Mr. Grey, you yourself with your rose-red youth and your rose-white boyhood, you have had passions that have made you afraid, thoughts that have filled you with terror, daydreams and sleeping dreams whose mere memories might stain your cheek with shame. That's another quote. This one is directed to Dorian Gray, and I'm pretty sure that it's Basil that makes this statement. Should we do one more? I think we should do one more. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. I think this is from chapter 4, and it says, people say sometimes that beauty is only superficial. That may be so, but at least it is not so superficial as I thought. To me, beauty is the wonder of wonders. People who do not judge by appearances. The true mystery of the world is the visible, not the invisible. Yes, Mr. Gray, the gods have been good to you, but what the gods give, they quickly take away. You have only a few years in which to live really, perfectly, and fully. When your youth goes, your beauty will go with it, and then you will suddenly discover that there are no triumphs left for you, or have to content yourself with those mean triumphs that the memory of your past will make more bitter than defeats. Every mouth at its wanes brings you nearer to something dreadful. Time is jealous of you and wars against your lilies and your roses. You will become sallow and horror-cheeked and dull-eyed. You will suffer horribly. This is, I think, the part where Basil really speaks to Dorian Gray till he eventually makes that wish in his mind that he wishes that the portrait would bear everything bad he does, and then he would maintain that youth, that beauty, that vibrance. I think this is such a profound book. I don't believe in everything that was written because I don't believe that you have to give in to temptation in order to overcome it. I think the more you give in to temptation, the more it gets a hold of you, and sometimes it is good to fight. It is good to fight